Hey everyone, Lisa the Whimsical Gardener. So today we're going to continue potting up our dahlias and our hostas. So this is part 2 of my series. Last episode, which I'm going to link as well to this video, I talked about how I doom scroll, saw some sales on Tulip World, got them, and this box has been sitting in my house probably 2 to 3 months. Since it got here. And in last episode I potted up the dahlias, the shorter ones. So today what I want to show you guys is the remaining items that I have. So I have 3 tubers of the Wizard of Oz dahlia, and I'm going to pop a picture of what it looks like on the screen. And then I have 6 plants of the mixed hosta. Again, I'll pop that as well on the screen, and then 1 root of the Catherine hosta, which again I'll put a picture on the screen with them. It's actually really nice on the deck, so I'm like, let me come outside, sit on the deck and do these. So here's my plan. My plan is for the hosta, I am going to put them in pots and I'm going to leave them in a shaded area, and I'm going to make sure that they're viable still, which I think they are. And I'm going to let it sprout, and then I will determine where to plant them, because I've noticed that when I put hosta directly in the ground from bare root, they take a while to develop. So I'm going to experiment with putting them in a container first, let them sprout and grow some roots, and then put them on from there. And then the next thing I was thinking about is for my dahlia is I have these containers here. And I was looking at my raised beds, and I don't have anything else that I can pull out from my raised bed to pot these dahlias up. And because it's late in the season, all of my other beds are kind of overgrown. So my thought is I'm going to pot them up in the container here. I got some potting soil. And then I'm going to let them sprout. If I get any blooms this season, I'm completely fine with that. If not, it's okay. I'm just going to overwinter them in the container. In Georgia, we can overwinter our dahlias. We don't need to live them. So that's what my plan is today. So I want to show you how I'm going to do these in containers, and you can also do that as well. Would love if you can like, subscribe, and comment to this video, and share with a gardening friend as well. So let's start first with the hostas. So I got these containers, and I got my tray. And the nice thing is I was prepared for today's video. I'm not stressed for time like I was in the other one, because I got some tags. So I'm going to be able to tag what it is that I have, and I also have my gardening marker as well, so I'll be able to tag them. I still need to go and write the labels on the one I potted up in the raised bed from the last video, so that's on my list. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to use these pots. Now these containers are fairly small, so I think the first thing I need to do is open up the packet and see how big the root is. So in case you're wondering what a hosta root looks like, when you get them as bare root, this is what they look like. Now I'm pretty sure that this one is still alive, just because I've got a little bit of experience with hosta root. I don't see, like, it's not falling apart, so I just need to basically revive it. So we'll see if it actually revives, guys. So let me fill this up with some potting soil, which I've got my potting soil over here. So fill my pot up. So what I'm doing is I'm only filling my pot up halfway. And the reason why I'm doing that is filling it up halfway is I can now nestle my root. So I'm just going in there and nestle it in, and then I'm going to cover it with soil. And what I'm doing for the hosta is I'm not burying it too much. I'm going to leave it like up to here, because what's going to happen is it's going to sprout here. So this is how I'm going to know that it's going to be viable. So, and plus I don't want to waste time and plant this if it's not going to sprout. So I want to make sure that it's actually a good bare root. So this is what it looks like. That's all. And I'm going to go ahead and give this a good drink of water. Let me go ahead and label, because I'm not going to remember what it is that I put on there. And I had my garden marker. Where did I put it? Here it is. So I like to use a garden marker. Don't use a Sharpie, because what's going to happen is when it rains, it's going to wash off. So you can get a garden marker from Amazon. Just type in garden marker and you'll see it. So I'm putting the Catherine Hosta, and just for information's sake, I'm going to put what day I rooted this, just so I know what day what day I potted it up. So today is today's the 20th of August, so I'm going to put that on here and stick it in here. And then I got one of my trays that I have, so I'm just going to stick it in the tray, and now it'll be easy for me to take it down as well. So let's fill up the other pot, and the next one I'm going to do is I am going to the mixed hosta. There's a couple of them that I don't have from the picture, so I'm excited to see what comes up from these. So when you get the mixed hosta, this is what it looks like. So it comes in a little clump like this, and then you're basically going to separate it out. I'm glad I kept this box because it's so messy right now. And I'm not going to know which is which, because it's basically labeled as a mixed hosta. And the other thing I wanted to show you as well, on the hosta root like this, the way you know where to plant it, like whether to put it this way or this way, is here is where the shoot's going to come up, so the pointy top. So you want to put this down and put it in the container like this. If you're not sure, you can always do it on the side. And I want to show you also the difference. When you buy things on bare root, they're going to come in different sizes. So look at this one here. So this is a large, but look how tiny this one is. That's completely normal. So larger one, there's like a medium sized one, and super tiny. So I'm going to fill my pots up. So let me show you guys again how to do this. So here is my half-fill soil on there. This I know is the top of my hosta, because that's where the sprout comes out. And I'm just going to go ahead and put it in the container like this. And then I'm going to backfill it with some soil. And what I'm doing is I'm just using my hands and making sure there's no air pockets around it. Since I know that these are all mixed hosta, that's what I'm going to go ahead and label them as mixed hostas. Now here's what I typically do. So you'll notice that in the packets, they come in these little like cocoa fiber type of thing on there. I don't toss that out. What I do is I just literally take it, and if I have a pot around, I would use that as things. So I don't waste that waste those material. All right, back to our tags, and I keep losing my marker, you guys. Where'd it go? Not sure why I put it in the box. Alright, so everything is labeled. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put these, water them, and I'm going to put them in my plant nursery area and keep an eye on them. They should sprout in about, I would say, 2 weeks or so. And once I know they're viable, I'm going to leave them. I'm going to let them go on, and then in the fall time, I'll plant them out. For my dahlia tuber, what I'm going to do is I've got my containers. pardon me, these aren't pretty containers. Right, so for my dahlias, my larger, the Wizard of Oz dahlia, I'm going to fill these containers up, which they already have a hole on them. They're not the best looking container, but they're what I'm going to use to hold things over. So what I'm thinking about, actually, if I look at this, I could probably fit all 3 dahlia in one large container. So that's what I'm going to do. Instead of doing 3 separate containers, I'm going to use just this one here, which is large, fill that one up, leave it on the deck, and then plant the dahlias. So for that, what I'm going to do is let me find my final resting place where I want to put this container on the deck, and that way I'll fill it up from there instead of having to lift it and put it where I need to go. So let me scour the deck and see what I got going. Actually, I think I'm just going to put them right over here. I think that's a good spot right there. So let me move the camera so you can kind of see what I'm doing. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to half fill my container, and then I'll bring it a little bit closer so you can see it. Alright guys, so here's my container. Hey Kate, I'm figuring something, Bubba. Oh my god, you got dirt on you. You got dirt. Okay, sorry, he wants to be in the video with me. Bubba, I'm in the middle. I'm in the middle of filming something. So I'm going to open up my tubers, and I'm going to dump them all in here. The first thing I want to do is separate them out, and let me look at the tubers of themselves, make sure they look good, and I'm not planting something that I know for sure is dead. So this comes with 3 clumps. I'm going to take the little things off. I'm going to pull some of the roots off because I want to show you guys what you're looking for. So this is a tuber. So notice how it has an eye, which is this one here, which is great because you can see it's sprouted already. Then you have the tuber on there, and you're looking for a neck, which is right over there. This one here I can actually split, because if you look at it, there's a tuber with an eye and a neck here, and then there's another one right over here as well. But I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to leave them as is. Now for dahlias, you want to plant them. I am actually going to plant these a little bit deeper. So typically you want to plant them about 4 to 6 inches deep. But I know that for our zone, usually we do get a frost, and about an inch and a half of the soil will typically freeze. So, and I don't want the hostas to be affected. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to plant them a little bit deeper, knowing that that will happen. So all I'm doing is I'm just moving my dirt, planting it down. And the way you know how to plant a dahlia, the part the shoot is coming up, that goes up like that. All right. If you're not sure, put it on the side like this. If the eye isn't there, you're always going to see a stem like this, or you'll see a little thing that looks like a potato with a pointy top. The pointy top goes up on top. So I'm just going to take this. I just literally create a hole right there, and I'm just going to place that in right there. The next one now, so I'm looking at this one here. Now, a couple of things with this one here. First of all, there's a lot of roots. So in order for me to see, I'm going to pull out. See how it has a lot of roots? I'm going to pull them out so I can see what's going on here. Okay, this one is viable as well. So if you notice, there is lots of little tubers on there. They're in good shape. The tuber underneath here is alive. See, there's a sprout that's going down, but I'm not really worried about that because there's eyes. See, there's an eye right there, which is basically the little bump. See the little bump? And it has lots of them. Here's another one right there too as well. Now this one here, you'll notice this one is broken. You don't need that. You can actually take that out if you want to. And all I'm going to do is, I'm going to go ahead and plant this. So again, this goes on top, and I'm just going to go ahead and create a little hole right there, and then I'm going to put it in. I'll bring you guys a little bit closer to show you what they look like before I actually fill them up with dirt. Now this one here has lots of extra roots, so I'm just going to pull them out just so I can see what's going on here. Okay, so this one is also viable. Now this is broken. You don't need that. You can pull that out. But you'll notice if I squeeze the tuber, see how it's nice and hard? And then you'll notice there's a neck right there. And yes, there is a sprout, but it doesn't look like it's that healthy. I'm going to go ahead and take that out. And why I'm not worried is because if you look at it, see how there's a little eye right there? So it's a little bump with some white stuff. That's the eye that you're looking for. And I'm looking at it and I can see about 2 to 3 eyes. So I'm going to go ahead and pot this one up too. Bringing you in a little bit closer. Notice how there's one here, one there, and the other one right there. So now I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and cover that with some soil. Now typically what I do is I will put some fertilizer in there, and I am kind of lazy to go down and get the fertilizer. So what I'm going to do is I can come back and put a fertilizer on top, and when the next time I go down, I'll grab it from downstairs, and then I'm going to come and then just sprinkle it in here, rough up the dirt, and put a fertilizer there. But I don't absolutely have to do fertilizer, but I do like doing it because it gives it a better chance. So the next thing I'm going to do is let me take the potting soil and fill this up. Alright, and I'm making sure that there's no air pockets, so I'm just using my finger and pressing it down. Now I should expect to see some sprouts in about 2 weeks from this. Let's go ahead and make our label so I don't forget what I have in here. And what I'm doing for this one here is I'm putting that I have 3 tubers in here just so I can remember. And then the last thing I'm going to do is go ahead and give it a good drink of water. And I have my hostas as well, so I'm going to give that a good drink of water as well. Alright everyone, that does it for this video. Hopefully you learned something on how we can pot up bare root hosta and how we can pot up some dahlia in a container. These Wizard of Oz dahlia, I think they get about 36 to 48 inches tall. But for this particular season, I'm hoping I get some blooms. I'm not counting on it. I'm just gonna keep it in here because it's better to have it in a container and pot up rather than in the bag because it could go bad that way. So I hope you all learned something from this. Would love if you can share this video with any of your gardening friends, like, comment, subscribe as well. Let me know if you want me to focus on anything else in the garden. So what do you want to learn about the garden and how to do something? Leave it in the comments. Let me know. Until next time, everyone, happy gardening.